My beloved brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when you wake up unexpectedly between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. The world is silent, the night is calm, and your heart suddenly finds itself awake. You look at the clock and wonder, why am I up at this hour? Let me tell you something beautiful. Sometimes this is not an accident. Sometimes this is an invitation. At that hour, when the world is asleep, when the noise is gone and distractions fade, Allah is giving you a gentle nudge. My servant, I want to hear you. My servant, I want you to come back to me. This time, the last third of the night, is a time when Allah's mercy descends, when dua is accepted, when hearts soften, when tears become healing instead of weakness. It is a moment when the soul becomes more honest, more sincere, more real. Sometimes Allah wakes you because He knows your heart is hurting and only a conversation with Him can heal it. Sometimes He wakes you because there is something coming your way and the only protection strong enough is a prayer whispered in the darkness. Sometimes He wakes you because He misses hearing your voice and you've been too busy, too tired, too overwhelmed. My brothers and sisters, when you wake up at that hour, don't rush back to sleep. Even if it's just for 1 minute, raise your hands and speak to your Lord. Say, Ya Allah, guide me. Ya Allah, forgive me. Ya Allah, strengthen me. That one moment may change your entire day. It may change your entire life. And if you can, offer just 2 units of prayer, even short ones. They may be small on the outside, but their weight with Allah is enormous. You don't need fancy words. You don't need long recitations. You just need a sincere heart. Remember, Allah wakes you because He wants good for you. He wakes you because He sees you slipping and wants to pull you back. He wakes you because He loves you more than you understand. So the next time your eyes open between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., smile and say, Alhamdulillah, my Lord is calling me. The idea that waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. can be a special invitation from Allah carries a deep spiritual meaning that many people overlook. When a person's eyes open at that quiet, almost mysterious hour, it is often dismissed as coincidence, restlessness, or an irregular sleep pattern. But for a believer who reflects, nothing in life is random. Everything has a purpose, even the moments we do not plan. When Allah wakes you in those early hours, it may be His way of telling you that He wants you closer, that He has something to give you, or that He is opening a door that only appears when the world is asleep and hearts are soft. At that time, the world feels different. The air is still. The noise of daily life is absent. There are no responsibilities, calling your name, no deadlines, no conversations, no distractions. It is a time designed for intimacy with Allah, a moment when your heart can speak freely without being drowned by the rush of the day. Allah knows that during the busyness of daylight, your mind is pulled in many directions: work, family, stress, worries, obligations. But at night, when everything becomes calm, the heart becomes more aware, more open, and more sincere. So when you wake up at that specific time, it may be because Allah wants to give you something that cannot be given during the noise of the day. He wants to give you peace, clarity, guidance, strength, forgiveness, or healing. Consider how a mother gently wakes her child when she has something important to share, something she doesn't want the child to miss. Allah, in His unimaginable mercy, may be waking you gently for the same reason. He is the one who controls sleep and wakefulness. He is the one who knows your deepest worries, some of which you do not even speak aloud. And He is the one who knows exactly when your heart is most ready to receive His mercy. Sometimes you wake with no reason, but Allah knows the reason. Sometimes you cannot fall asleep again, but Allah is holding your heart. Sometimes you feel a strange pull, a feeling that you should sit up, reflect, or whisper a prayer. And that pull is from your Creator, not from your own mind. There are moments when a person's heart is heavy with unspoken sadness, quiet fears, or hidden confusion. Allah knows when you are carrying more than you can handle. So He wakes you in a moment of tranquility when your heart can finally breathe. It is at this time that He invites you to release those burdens, to speak to Him with honesty, to cry if you need to, and to rediscover the peace that only comes from remembering Him. Sometimes the healing you have been searching for all day appears in the softness of pre-dawn when your forehead touches the ground and your tears fall where no one else can see. Waking up at that hour is a reminder that Allah is closer to you than you think. Many people assume that their relationship with Allah is weak or distant because life has distracted them, but the fact that your heart stirs at a time when most people are asleep is a beautiful sign. It means your soul is still alive, still sensitive, still connected to its creator, even if you have not felt spiritual lately. You may not wake up intentionally, but your heart responds even before your mind does. That is a blessing. That is a sign of spiritual potential. That is an invitation to rise and reconnect. Sometimes the invitation is not about you asking Allah for something, but about Allah wanting to give you something. There are moments when Allah prepares blessings for you, blessings that cannot be delivered during your waking hours because your heart is too occupied. In the stillness of early dawn, your heart becomes more receptive. You may not know it, but those moments are when your destiny can change through a single sincere prayer. You may ask for something you thought was impossible, or you may find reassurance that settles your anxiety. You may feel a sudden clarity that helps you make an important decision. You may feel a warmth in your chest that replaces the restlessness you carried. These are gifts from the one who knows your soul better than you know yourself. It is also possible that Allah wakes you because He wants to protect you. Perhaps a temptation approaches, a mistake you're about to make, or a path you're walking that will harm you. Allah gently wakes you because remembrance at that hour strengthens you, clears your vision, awakens your conscience. A single sincere prayer at that moment can shield you from unseen harm. A single moment of remembrance can illuminate your path. Even if you do nothing more than sit quietly for a few minutes, that moment is special. It is a moment witnessed by the angels, a moment written in your book of deeds, a moment that carries weight on the day when nothing else will matter. Responding to Allah's subtle invitation by even whispering Alhamdulillah or Ya Allah is a sign of humility, and humility brings you closer to Him. So when you find yourself awake at that mysterious hour, do not rush to dismiss it. Recognize the beauty behind it. Your Lord is calling you in the quiet, inviting you to a private meeting before the world wakes. He is reminding you that you are seen, loved and guided, and He is opening a door of mercy that only appears between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., waiting for you to step through. The time between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. falls within what is known in Islamic tradition as the last third of the night, a period described as one of the most spiritually powerful and peaceful moments in the entire day. It is a time when the world is quiet, the sky is still, and even your own thoughts seem softer. In this sacred silence, something extraordinary happens. The mercy of Allah descends in a special way, and the doors of acceptance open wider than at any other time. Many people feel something different in those hours without fully realizing why. They may feel a strange calmness, a lightness in the heart, or a sudden desire to reflect, pray, or think deeply. This unique atmosphere exists because Allah has made those hours a moment of divine peace, a moment designed for connection and acceptance. When a person wakes at that time, intentionally or unintentionally, they wake in a moment when the barriers between the heart and its Lord can feel thinner. The distractions of the day, emails, conversations, stress, noise, responsibilities, do not exist at that hour. There is nothing pulling your attention away. Everything in creation seems to pause. You may even notice that your thoughts feel clearer, as if the mind has room to breathe. This clarity is not accidental. It is part of the peaceful environment Allah places around you in the last part of the night. That silence you feel is not empty. It carries a spiritual weight, a softness that makes your heart more receptive and your soul more aware. In that time, Allah's mercy descends in a way that encourages the believer to draw near. It is a moment when prayers are more likely to be answered, when forgiveness is more easily granted, and when the soul can heal more quickly. Many people struggle to find peace during the day because the noise of life muffles the voice of the heart. But in the last part of the night, the heart is naked, free from pretenses, free from the chaos, free from everything except its own truth. In such a state, your connection with Allah becomes more natural, more sincere, and more meaningful. Think of how the atmosphere of a place can influence your emotions. Just as a peaceful environment can calm the mind, the tranquility of the last portion of the night calms the soul. In this divine stillness, your worries seem smaller, your problems feel more manageable, and your hope becomes stronger. This is a gift from Allah, a spiritual window through which you can pour your heart out without fear or distraction. Even if you have spent the whole day feeling numb or stressed, waking in this moment can revive something inside you. The quiet whispers of the night can remind you of things you forgot during the day, your purpose, your blessings, your relationship with your Creator. One of the reasons dua made at this time is so powerful is because your heart speaks differently in the dark. You don't need eloquent words or long prayers. Even a broken sentence, a quiet whisper, or a single tear can carry weight at that hour. Allah knows what is in your heart before you express it. But He loves that you choose to speak to Him, especially when you wake in the time He has chosen as a moment of divine closeness. There is something incredibly comforting about knowing that Allah has designated a portion of every night just to listen, forgive, and respond to His servants. It is a reflection of His mercy that He invites people every single night to turn to Him, no matter how far they may have drifted. Even if your relationship with Allah has weakened, even if your faith feels low, even if you haven't prayed properly in a long time, the last third of the night remains open for you. It does not close. It does not discriminate. It does not judge. It welcomes you as though you have always been consistent, always been devoted, always been strong. This divine generosity is something the human heart cannot fully comprehend, but it can feel. When you wake at this time, even for a few minutes, you are standing in a moment charged with spiritual potential. You might not even intend to pray or make dua, but the mere fact that your eyes open during those blessed hours is already a sign of Allah's mercy touching you. It is a sign that something in your soul is awake, even if your mind has not caught up yet. It is a sign that Allah is giving you a chance, not because He needs your worship, but because your soul needs His mercy. The peace of that time does not only soothe your spiritual side, it can bring clarity to your worldly concerns as well. Many people have found solutions to problems, strength during hardships, and courage in moments of fear by connecting with Allah in those early hours. This is because when your heart settles, your judgment improves, your thoughts align, and your perspective widens. The divine calm sprinkled over those hours gives you the opportunity to think more wisely, to feel more deeply, and to see beyond the surface. So when you wake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., do not see it as a random interruption to your sleep. See it as a moment gifted to you, a moment when divine peace fills the air around you. Allah has created this sacred time to be a shelter, a sanctuary, a place where your heart can rest and your soul can speak. It is a reminder that no matter how overwhelming life becomes, there will always be a time each night when mercy descends, doors open, and your Lord waits for you with compassion that never ends. Waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. can sometimes feel random, but often it is deeply connected to the state of your heart. At that hour, the body is tired, but the soul becomes more honest. The noise of the world disappears, and the thoughts you manage to distract yourself from during the day rise to the surface. In those quiet moments, you may notice emotions you ignored, worries you pushed aside, or spiritual emptiness you didn't want to confront. When Allah wakes you at this time, it can be a gentle reminder to pause and reset your heart, to realign yourself with what truly matters, and to address the inner struggles you've been carrying without even realizing how heavy they've become. Throughout the day, people move from one task to another, from responsibilities to conversations, from stress to obligations. The pace of life rarely allows time to sit, breathe, and reflect. Sometimes the heart becomes clouded, not because a person is bad, but simply because life overwhelms them. You may carry unspoken sadness, internal confusion, guilt about something you wish you had done differently, or even a sense of spiritual distance that you don't know how to repair. When you wake up at that specific time, it may be Allah's way of inviting you to acknowledge those feelings and cleanse your heart. In the stillness of pre-dawn, the heart becomes softer. It becomes more receptive to truth and more open to healing. During the day, you might find it difficult to cry, difficult to pray sincerely, or difficult to connect with your spiritual goals. But at night, when the world sleeps, your emotions become more transparent. You may find yourself thinking deeply about your life, your mistakes, your relationships, and your connection with Allah. You may even feel a subtle urge to speak to Allah, or a sense of guilt that you haven't been as close to Him as you once were. That moment is not random. It is a divine opportunity for inner renewal. When Allah wants good for a person, He sometimes wakes them to remind them of who they truly are beneath the layers of stress, distractions, and dunya. You might be drifting spiritually without realizing it. You might be prioritizing things that don't bring you closer to your purpose. Or you may be carrying emotional wounds that need to be healed through sincere dua and reflection. Allah knows the condition of your heart better than you do. He knows when it is becoming too heavy, too distant, or too scattered. And so He calls you in the quietest hour of the night, when you are most likely to listen and when your heart is most likely to respond. This early waking can also be a sign that something inside you needs to be purified. Maybe you've been accumulating negative feelings, resentment, jealousy, regret, anger, without realizing how deeply they're affecting you. Perhaps your heart has become cluttered with worries about the future or guilt about the past. At that hour, Allah offers you a chance to let go of these burdens, to ask Him to wash away the heaviness, and to begin your day with a heart that feels lighter and more centered. Even if you don't immediately stand up to pray, simply lying awake at that time can calm your heart. You might reflect on your life and feel a sudden wave of clarity. You may realize something you hadn't seen before, or find the courage to change something you've been afraid to confront. Many people experience their most honest thoughts in the hours before dawn. This is because the distractions fade, and the voice of the heart becomes louder. And when the heart speaks, Allah gives it space to be heard. Sometimes the reset you need is not about solving a problem, but simply about realigning your direction. Life has a way of pulling people off track. You may start focusing too much on worldly matters, forgetting the spiritual nourishment the soul needs. Waking at that time is a reminder to return to balance. It is an opportunity to reconnect with Allah before the day begins, to set your intention right, and to remind yourself of your greater purpose. Those few quiet minutes can influence the entire rhythm of your day. A heart that begins the morning connected to Allah is a heart that will face challenges with more patience, respond to stress with more calm, and approach people with more compassion. There is also a psychological and emotional wisdom behind this moment. When the heart is troubled, it often seeks stillness. But stillness is rare during the day. Allah grants you that stillness at night, when your mind is quieter and your emotions are raw and truthful. It is in these moments that you may feel closer to Allah than at any other time. A small whisper of Ya Allah can feel intense and meaningful. A short reflection can inspire deep change. Even a tear that falls on your pillow can cleanse more than many hours of thinking. Allah does not wake you to burden you. He wakes you to relieve you. He wakes you because there is something in your heart that needs attention. Something that can be healed only in the gentle silence before dawn. He wakes you because He wants you to return to Him with sincerity. He wakes you because He wants to give you peace, clarity, and strength before you step into the challenges of the day. So when you find yourself awake in that sacred window of time, understand that your heart is being given an opportunity to reset. You are being called to release what no longer serves you, to seek forgiveness for what weighs on you, and to open your heart to the tranquility that Allah offers. It is a chance to start fresh, not just spiritually, but emotionally and mentally. In those early, quiet moments, Allah is inviting you to rediscover the purity of your heart. And every time you respond, even in the smallest way, you take a step toward becoming the person you are meant to be. Spiritual sensitivity is something many people underestimate. They assume that since they are not praying as much as they want, or not feeling as connected as they used to, their heart must be completely distant from Allah. But Allah looks at the heart in ways we often don't recognize. There are times when you may feel spiritually weak, distracted, or overwhelmed, yet Allah still touches your heart gently. One of the ways He does this is by waking you between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. At first it may feel like insomnia or coincidence. But for someone willing to reflect, this can be a sign that your heart is awake even when your body is tired. It means your soul is responding to something deeper, something divine, something calling you back, spiritual. Sensitivity doesn't always appear in obvious ways. It isn't just about praying perfectly, memorizing more, or crying during recitation. Sometimes it shows up in subtle moments, like feeling guilty for a small mistake, being moved by a verse you haven't heard in years, or waking up at a time when most people sleep. These moments reflect that your heart still has life, still has softness, still has a connection to Allah that hasn't disappeared. Even if you drifted, even if you've been inconsistent, even if you feel spiritually numb, waking up in the last part of the night is a sign that your heart is still reachable. When Allah loves a servant, He guides them in ways they may not understand immediately. He may wake you at that blessed time because your heart is sensitive enough to respond, even if your mind is not fully conscious of it. Maybe you haven't prayed tahajjud for months or years, yet something inside you stirs at that hour. That stirring is from Allah. He is the one who controls your sleep, your breath, your wakefulness. He is the one who knows that somewhere within you there is a desire to return to Him, to improve, to purify yourself. Waking in that moment is a reflection of that hidden desire. There are people who struggle all day to feel spiritual closeness. They pray mechanically, they read Quran without feeling, they listen to lectures but feel disconnected. But the night is different. During the night, when the noise fades, something inside becomes more sincere. The heart speaks more clearly because the world is finally quiet. Many people who cannot bring themselves to cry during the day find tears falling naturally during the night. They may not even know why. This is spiritual sensitivity, your heart reacting to the presence of Allah's mercy without you forcing it. The irony is that the people who wake at this time often underestimate themselves. They may think, I'm not good enough, I'm far from Allah, I've made too many mistakes. Yet Allah wakes them at the most sacred hour, the time when sincere souls rise. This itself is a message. You are not as far from Allah as you think. Your heart still belongs to Him, and He still wants you close. It's often the people who believe they are spiritually broken who are actually among the most beloved, because they feel their need for Allah even in their weakness. And Allah responds to hearts that are humble and aware, even if they are hurting. Waking between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. can also reflect that your heart is more spiritually aware than you realize. You may have been distracted by worldly worries, relationships, responsibilities, or stress. But when Allah wakes you, it reveals that beneath all that noise, there is still a part of you that seeks Him. You may have forgotten your spiritual identity for a while, but your heart has not forgotten its Creator. It always remembers even when you don't consciously feel it. This is why the early hours feel different. They awaken something ancient within the soul. Many people don't realize that spiritual sensitivity is often strengthened by hardship. When you are going through emotional pain, anxiety, or uncertainty, your heart becomes more aware of its need for guidance. That awareness might wake you at night. It might make you think of Allah even when you don't intend to. It might push you to whisper a prayer when you don't have the energy for a long dua. Your struggles can soften your heart in ways comfort never could. And Allah uses that softness to draw you closer to Him at a time when you're most receptive. Another aspect of spiritual sensitivity is that the heart sometimes knows before the mind does. Your mind tells you you're tired, you need sleep, you'll pray tomorrow, but your heart knows that you need Allah now in this moment. That inner restlessness at night, the feeling that you should sit up or reflect or just breathe deeply, may be your heart responding to a spiritual call. The body sleeps, but the soul remains awake. And when the soul calls, Allah gently pushes your eyes open. This sensitivity is a blessing, not a burden. It means Allah has not sealed your heart. It means your light is still shining, even if faintly. It means your spiritual connection is still alive, still beating, still guiding you. Many people go through life without feeling this call, without experiencing this gentle awakening, without sensing the divine presence that touches the heart at night. If Allah wakes you, He is choosing you. If He wakes you repeatedly, He is insisting on you. If He wakes you with peace, He is comforting you. If He wakes you with heaviness, He is inviting you to release your burdens. So the next time you find yourself awake in those quiet hours, don't ignore it. Recognize that within you there is a heart that is still alive, still sensitive, still connected to Allah. You may not feel perfect, you may not feel strong, but your heart is responding. That response is one of the most beautiful signs that Allah has not forgotten you and your soul has not forgotten Him. Sometimes Allah wakes you between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. not only to bless you with closeness, peace, or reflection, but also to protect you from things you cannot see. Human beings see only what is in front of them, but there is an entire world of unseen matters, emotional, spiritual, and even physical, that we know nothing about. Allah, in His perfect knowledge and wisdom, sees everything. He knows what lies ahead in your day, what dangers surround you, what temptations call you, and what harm you might be walking toward without realizing it. So when He wakes you at that early sacred hour, it can be a shield, a protection, a divine intervention that redirects your path before you step into something harmful. There are moments in life when you are about to make a decision that will affect you in ways you don't understand. Sometimes Allah protects you from making that decision by stirring your heart at night. You may wake up suddenly, unable to sleep, feeling uneasy or restless without understanding why. That moment is not random. Allah may be warning you about something you cannot detect with your limited perception. A single short prayer in that hour could be the barrier that stands between you and a mistake, a heartbreak, a bad influence, or a consequence you are not prepared for. Many people underestimate how the unseen world interacts with the heart when spiritual harm tries to approach you. Jealousy, evil intentions from others, whispered doubts, temptations, or emotional heaviness. Allah may lift you out of your sleep as a form of protection. In that moment, your heart becomes alert even if your mind is still tired. You might not understand the reason, but you feel prompted to turn to Allah. Maybe you say a short prayer. Maybe you simply recite a verse. Maybe you whisper astaghfirullah. These simple acts become a shield. They become light. They become a barrier against the things that were attempting to reach you without your awareness. Sometimes Allah wakes you because He knows you are emotionally vulnerable, and He wants to protect your heart before you fall into something that will hurt you. You might be on the edge of returning to a sin that you gave up, revisiting a past that damaged you, or pursuing a path that will shake your peace. In His mercy, Allah wakes you at the hour when hearts are most receptive and whispers into your soul, remember me. And remembering Him becomes the strength you need to avoid what would have harmed you. There are also moments when you are heading into a day filled with challenges that you cannot see coming. Maybe you will face a test, a conflict, a temptation, or a spiritual low. Allah wakes you beforehand to prepare you. A few minutes of remembrance in those early hours can reinforce your heart with clarity and calmness that carry you through the difficulties of the day. You may not realize it then, but the strength you feel later, the patience that surprises you, or the protection you experience from a harmful situation may have begun with those quiet moments before dawn. Protection from the unseen is not limited to spiritual harm. Allah may also wake you as a form of emotional protection. Perhaps you are burdened with thoughts that have been weighing you down, thoughts that keep circling your mind during the day but never resolve. At night, when the world is silent, Allah gives you a chance to release those thoughts, to let out the emotions you suppress, and to seek comfort from Him directly. This emotional protection prevents the heart from becoming hardened or overwhelmed. It keeps your inner world from collapsing under pressure. Those few early minutes can save you from a week of anxiety, a day of stress, or a future mistake. Additionally, Allah may wake you to protect you from falling further into spiritual negligence. Maybe you've become distant from your prayers, distracted from your faith, or caught up in things that are dulling your heart. The early morning awakening becomes a call back before the distance grows too wide. He brings you to wakefulness not to punish you, but to bring you back gently. Protection is not always about shielding you from others. It is also about saving you from yourself, from your weaknesses, from your forgetfulness. The mercy behind this protection is astonishing. Imagine that the Creator of the heavens and earth is actively guarding your heart, guiding your steps, redirecting your thoughts, and protecting your soul without you even realizing it. Waking you at night is one of the ways He does that. It is not a disturbance, it is care. It is not a random moment, it is attention. Allah is watching over you even in your sleep, even when you are unaware, even when you think your faith is weak. When you wake at that time and feel unusually alert or uneasy, it is worth pausing to think, maybe Allah is protecting me from something. This thought itself is calming. It reminds you that you are not alone, not vulnerable, not walking blindly through life. You are under His protection. Even when you do not see the danger, He does. Even when you don't ask for help, He gives it. Even when you forget Him during the day, He remembers you at night. So the next time you find yourself awake before dawn, don't rush to dismiss it. Recognize that Allah may be shielding you from harm, guiding your heart, or strengthening your soul. You may not see what He is protecting you from, but trust that He sees all, and trust that every moment He wakes you is filled with wisdom, mercy, and love. When you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., it can be a powerful reminder that life is bigger than your routine, your deadlines, and your day-to-day concerns. This early awakening can be a chance Allah gives you to realign your purpose, to step back from the noise of the world and remember why you are here, what you are striving for, and what truly matters. People often get so caught up in the rush of life that they forget to ask themselves the most important questions. What direction is my life moving toward? Am I living in a way that brings me closer to Allah, or have I drifted without noticing? When Allah wakes you in the quietest part of the night, it can be a nudge toward clarity, a reminder to check your path, adjust your heart, and center your ambitions. Life has a way of pulling you into rhythms that are not always meaningful. You may wake, work, push through responsibilities, deal with stress and go to sleep, only to repeat the same cycle the next day. This repetition can numb the heart. Days blend into each other, and without realizing it, you begin to forget the deeper purpose you are meant to pursue. Waking at that early hour interrupts that cycle. It creates a pause, a moment where the mind is silent, the world is still, and your heart becomes more open to reflection. In this rare window of calm, you are able to think about your life with clarity that is often missing during the day. Allah knows that clarity comes in quiet moments. He knows that when the world is asleep, your heart is more honest, more grounded, and more aware of what it truly wants. In that early waking, many people suddenly find themselves thinking deeply about their priorities. They may realize how much time they have given to things that bring little benefit. They may feel a longing for something more meaningful, more spiritual, more fulfilling. They might remember goals they abandoned, good habits they let go of, or dreams that once brought them closer to Allah but were forgotten along the way. The silence before dawn allows you to see your life without the usual distractions, and this alone can awaken your sense of purpose. This realignment is not always dramatic. It can be subtle, like a shift in thinking. You may wake up and suddenly recognize that something in your life needs change. Maybe you've been chasing something that isn't good for your heart. Maybe you've been sitting in comfort that is slowly pulling you away from growth. Maybe you've been ignoring a responsibility, delaying repentance, or neglecting a part of your spiritual identity. Allah gives you this early moment so you can realign yourself before you drift too far. It is a chance to reset your intention, to consciously choose the kind of person you want to become. There is also a special wisdom in waking, at a time when most people are asleep. It reminds you that the path to Allah is personal, intimate, and separate from the expectations of the world. During the day, your actions are often influenced by people, by work, by obligations, but in the last part of the night, there's no one watching. Your actions are driven solely by sincerity, even the smallest intention you make at that moment, like deciding to improve, to let go of a sin, to start something beneficial, can carry immense spiritual weight because it was born in solitude. Moments of sincerity shape your purpose more deeply than moments of performance. Sometimes realignment comes from the realization of how temporary life is. In those quiet hours, death feels closer, accountability feels more real, and the hereafter feels more important. You may think about how little time you have and how quickly life moves. You may reflect on how many years have passed and how much more meaningful your future could be if you redirected your heart. This is not meant to scare you but to awaken you. When Allah gives you these thoughts at such a peaceful hour, it is a gift. It is a reminder that you still have time to reshape your life, to choose better paths, to return to Him with renewed purpose. Waking before dawn can also give you the mental space to reconnect with your deeper ambitions, the ones tied not to worldly success, but to spiritual fulfillment. You may remember how beautiful it feels to be close to Allah, how peaceful life becomes when your actions align with your faith, and how meaningful it is to live with intention. This remembering can reignite your drive to improve, to serve, to give, to worship, to cleanse your heart, and to become someone you are proud to meet Allah as. Even if you do not stand up to pray, the mere fact that you wake at a time of spiritual opportunity can influence your mindset for the entire day. You may go back to sleep with a renewed sense of direction. You may wake later with more gratitude, more mindfulness, or more motivation to make positive changes. These shifts, though small, accumulate. They shape your life one early morning at a time. Allah does not wake you because He wants to burden you. He wakes you because He wants to redirect you toward what will truly benefit you. He wants to protect your future from meaningless paths and guide you toward those that bring peace, clarity, and purpose. This early awakening is not simply a moment in the night. It is an invitation to look at your life from a higher perspective. So when your eyes open between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., take it as a sign that Allah is calling you back to what matters. He is giving you a chance to correct your direction, to revisit your priorities, and to return to the path that leads to Him. Even a small shift in those quiet hours can transform your entire life. In the end, waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. is far more than an interrupted sleep cycle. It is a divine whisper, a quiet invitation, a moment filled with purpose and mercy. Each of the reasons behind this early awakening carries its own beauty. The gentle call from Allah to draw nearer, the peace that descends in the last third of the night, the chance to reset a tired heart, the reminder that your soul is still spiritually alive, the protection from unseen harm, and the opportunity to realign your path toward what truly matters. When all these insights come together, they paint a simple but powerful truth. Allah wakes you because He loves you, because He cares for you, and because He sees within you a potential you may have forgotten in the noise of life. These early moments before dawn are not random. They are openings, windows into clarity, healing, growth, and connection. You may wake tired, lost, or restless, but you are waking in a time when mercy is closest and acceptance is at its peak. You are waking at a time when your heart is honest, your soul is soft, and your intentions can be purified without the pressure of the world around you. Even the smallest act, whispering His name, offering one sincere prayer, thinking deeply for just a moment, can carry immense weight with your Lord. So the next time your eyes open in those blessed hours, do not dismiss it. Recognize the honor in it. Recognize the love behind it. Sit for a moment, breathe, and allow your heart to speak to the one who already knows everything inside you. These quiet minutes can change your day. They can change your heart. They can change your destiny. And if you respond to that beautiful call, even in the simplest way, you will find Allah closer than you ever imagined, guiding you gently toward peace, purpose, and light. May Allah make us among those who respond to His beautiful invitation, and may He fill our hearts with peace, clarity, and light. Ameen.